Prof,
in 5 minutes?
Yes, Prof.
Yeah, to be 5 minutes.
Yeah, the president said,
yeah,
you know, the decision the NPP is pushing the government to take is what took us to the junk status that they took us. And he won't do that.
Correct. In fact, when I heard the president, I watched the presentation on TV, I told myself, President Mahama must be very courageous to have taken that decision, knowing too well, talking about politics and elections, how perhaps may hurt. But then
he said he was a dead goat. It cost him.
Oh, that's a long.
This is almost similar.
yeah. No, to be honest, I think he was quite courageous in making that decision. And of course, you just also alluded to the fact that perhaps if we were close to elections, he wouldn't have made it. But nonetheless, you see, I've been listening to these debates about cocoa. And I think, by and large, you are really talking about the symptoms, but not the root causes of where we are. You see, I don't want anybody to blame my good friend Randy, for that matter, the current administration per se, because what we are faced with is an accumulated result of mismanagement, pillaging, cheating cocoa farmers, all the way back throughout not only this republic, we can even go back. Those of us who've been saying, yeah, we are sons and whatever of cocoa farmers, you know how difficult it is to produce a bag of cocoa? You walk miles with a bag on your head. Look, and all these years, educated people like us, we have used our knowledge, quote unquote, to cheat farmers all along. Not only that, to manage this sector in such a way that it has become almost not sustainable. Look, as we sit, there are some countries who never thought of producing cocoa, who are cultivating cocoa. China is, Thailand is, I know that for a fact. Malaysia is even trying. Hey, Burkina Faso, do you know somebody is producing local chocolate from cocoa that he grows? I won't be surprised if very soon we go to Burkina to ask for additional cocoa for us to be able to export cocoa. The point I'm making is that we have been very happy and quick to capitalize on the income from the source of farmers over the years. But we have not been able to have a vision that will have transformed the industry to a level where the whole country could be proud of. Look, when I was a little kid and we were drying cocoa on the, how do you call it, the mat, that's it's the same thing that farmers are doing today. The same thing, 100 years, we are doing the same thing. Chinese.
And we say that the cocoa has been the backbone of the economy. We're building hundreds of roads with cocoa money, but we can't use it to transform, give technology that will improve what they are doing. So that other countries who are coming in later are even beating us because they have the technology.
Of course.
So you are right. The farmer has been cheated for far too long.
We have been cheating them. That's what we don't want to admit. But that is the reality. That's why perhaps some farmers are very angry. And if I were a farmer, I would be very angry. Okay? But I'm happy at least recently they announced that the officers are also reducing their salaries, blah, blah. But that came later, after the cocoa price had been reduced. So I think we have to be thinking ahead, because very soon, if cocoa is given a 6% of our national GDP, very soon it's going to be 2. It's going to be 2. Cocoa will no longer become the backbone of the economy. If that is the case, what do we think in strategic terms to replace cocoa?
Diversification, which we only talk about but never get to do.
Thank you very much. That's all we do. So
because you said a while ago, common tomatoes.
Common tomatoes.
Without, our neighbors, we are getting to scarcity.
Can you believe that? And it's become a strategic issue or security issue, I should say.
What's wrong with us? Are we jinxed to...
We are not jinxed. We are just not using our brains. People who are highly educated like you and I, we are the cause of the problem, not your father or my father who lives on the cocoa farm. They are just in their villages toiling, and we sit in the air-conditioned offices and see how we manipulate figures to enrich ourselves. That, for me, is an issue. So if the president is saying they are going to reform, he has announced certain measures, which I believe could help us transform it, but not enough to turn our fortunes around in terms of the production and utilization.
Let me hear Vicky briefly on this. Yes, the electricity matter.
I didn't finish it, but that's all right.
Go ahead. What's
because the glad that my good friend Eduji mentioned, glut of rice, of eggs, of that. This is not the first time I've heard of glut of rice on the market. What did we do? Simple silos to store. We have not been able to do that. There was a time they were talking about silo in every district, in every whatever, and we still sit here and there's a glut. We don't have the simple technology to preserve. So, like you said, what's wrong with us?
What do you make of the floodgate effects that he was talking about? That once you go to the rescue of the cocoa farmers,
all of them,
other farmers for various other
if
products.
That fear is going to chicken us away from taking bold decisions, I'm afraid. Where do we go?
The president says this is the boldest decision he had to take.
Well, he has to go further. It's bold in terms of really annoying the farmers. There's no question at all about that. But he needs to.
It's bold in terms of annoying the farmers.
And of course, the processing of cocoa. Look, back in 2003, President Kufuor announced it. He brought in Cargill Company to process cocoa. And the idea was that every year, if you can process 10%, whatever, within 5, 10, 15 years, by now...
He took us to the 1 million, ton mark.
That is the production. He came in when it was only 250 or 300,000 tons. He brought us to 700 and promised in 2 years we'll make 1 million. And we did. And then NDC number one. Mahama number one. So, you see, that's why at times you sit down and think, why do we always go back? When we start a good progress. Maybe that's why people are expressing some concern about the
just in some, 1 minute.
Electricity.
Is your power okay?
Let me tell you something. This is something I determined some time ago never to talk about, but this thing forces me to say it. I personally suspect there's a cabal in the electricity sector that is determined to rip off Ghanaians forever. Somehow I believe it because of what I've experienced.
The NDC.
You see, the whole thing of meters, meter selling.
Yeah, every administration wants to bring
his own meters because that's why they make the money to cheat us. Do you know the time they imported some meters from Egypt? They were all discarded because they never worked.
Recently they came to change the new meters and then they brought these new ones.
Why?
I didn't have any problem with my meters,
I was in Tanzania for 5 years. The same meter worked for me and it continued to work when I left after 5 years. Why is it that we are changing meters? Because you know why? It's a way for them to make money. Contracts.
Procurement.
And that's the truth.
Yes,
so in fact, I'm betting, I'm begging the president, there is certain, if he is serious.